Hopefully someone can come over and... No, they did not just do... Oh my god. Give them some air, give them some regulator. Hi divers, and welcome back to another scuba diving reaction video. And today we're going to be looking at Scuba Diver Panic. Nice and easy title, not a lot of context for this video, so it's going to be a bit of a blind reaction jumping into it. So let's see what happens. As always with these videos, it's not to be mean to the divers involved with these accidents or potential accidents, or in this case panics. The goal here is to use my experience as a professional scuba diver to advise you on how to avoid having these kind of situations happen to yourselves on dives, so you can have safer and happier dives yourselves. Oh, quick note before we jump into the video, we've got some new steampunk diver merch available on the Narked store, so if you guys want to get that, feel free to check out, links down in the description below. Without the wait, let's jump into the video. Right, this is green water. Like, are they diving in radioactive water? This is wild, it's like full on pondweed they're in. Quick question is, if anyone dives in this sort of thing, let me know, because I have no idea where you have to dive to see something like this. Okay, they're signaling to go up, so they're getting towards the end of the dive. It's assuming that's later on in the dive. Okay. Oh, air gauge or pressure gauge. Oh, they are not locking hot. They are doing a funky dance underwater. Okay, hopefully someone can come over and... No, they did not just do... Oh my god. Give them some air, give them some regulator. She's not accepting it. Oh god. She's even going for a hood then as well. Jeez. This is not... They are sinking fast. This is not good. They are going really fast. I don't know how deep they were with that, but this is a rapid ascent right now. Jeez. Surface, they need to inflate to get stuff. Jeez. Amazed she's staying afloat. I think it's because of the buoy that they're using to keep her afloat. That was wild. Okay, I've seen panics before when people rip about the regulator, spit it out or whatnot, but not full on ditch the mask as well. That is wild. Jeez. I can't actually tell what caused the panic. Just assuming right now with what usually causes divers to freak out, especially less experienced ones, I'd assume it's an out of air situation where they just ran out of gas in their tank. So that could have been what happened here. But it's kind of hard to gauge it, really. That's pretty wild. If it was, by the way, that they're out of air, that would explain why she wouldn't accept the alternate, because the guy used her own alternate. For that situation, by the way, yes, you sometimes can give someone their own alternate if they spit out their regulator. But if it's at the end of a dive in that situation where they might be out of air, which they just didn't signal, give your own alternate. I think personally, giving your own alternate is generally a better idea as well, because you can be more control of that situation. You can have it there on the approach and not have to try and reach around on them basically to try and get to the alternate, because if they're flailing around they could easily whack your mask off, whack your regulator out your mouth and get you in distress. So personally I would prefer to get your own alternate out and pass that to them than try to find theirs and pass it back into their mouth, because once you get them under control by giving them the alternate, clamping down their hands, stop them flailing around, then you can look at giving them back their alternate, check their air gauge if that was a situation. That's why they ditched their regulator. But wow, that was a wild panic, that was. And I wouldn't be surprised with an ascent that fast. There could be a high chance of getting DCS, decompression sickness, also known as the bends. Very, very dangerous. So let's go back into some deep analysis now on this to actually see what's gone on here and what went on. Just going to quickly check the description if there's any more information here. Deaths and panics. Death and panic attacks are more common than we think among divers. So it might have just been a panic attack. Wow. In a second, you can change everything. The woman accidentally spits out... What? The woman accidentally spits its regulator... That's such a bad English. The woman accidentally spits out their regulator and gives a panic attack at 15 meters deep. It happened on Jan 2015. So it's 15 meters deep. So was that what we saw on that pressure gauge then? Was it actually a depth gauge, not a pressure gauge? Let's go quickly back and find that. Yeah, that's a depth. Okay, so that's a depth gauge. They are using a depth gauge right there. So you can see there the needle is not the clearest. I was trying to enhance it for you guys for your viewing pleasure. that it is 15 meters deep, I believe that's trying to show there. So it's actually not the depth gauge, sorry, it's actually not the pressure gauge they're working at. We don't know then how long they've been diving for. We don't know if this has been a very deep dive. We don't know any of that kind of context. That's not given to us. But I assume because the fact they are given the signal to go up, they're looking to end the dive. They've been diving for a substantial amount of time, and they've probably got for at least half a tank. They're probably getting towards either a third of a tank, assuming, but they could have been more aggressive with their, they could be less conservative, so it could be less than a third of a tank, it could be a lot less. So all this considered, there's definitely a chance, if they're bolting like that, having rapid ascent, you are in risk of getting DCS from a long dive and that. But obviously, risk factors included here are that we don't know how deep they are. So deeper they are, the higher chances are. Longer they've been diving, higher the chances are. The fact I didn't see any nitrox tanks, they all look like standard scuba cylinders, so they're probably just on air. Doesn't reduce the chance of getting DCS either. So rapid ascending like that is not good. Let's just see, when did the panic start? I believe it was about here-ish, 36-ish seconds. Yeah. So this one starts ascending. So this is at the 15-meter point then. They are a little bit deeper there, so it could be a bit further to go as well. And they get to surface at 106. So 106, 107. So essentially 30 seconds to get ascent. So let's say they are about 50 meters, like I said in the video, or maybe a bit deeper, say 16, 17. Let's a bit 18. 18 is an easy number to work with, because the safe ascent rate, by the way, is doing no more than 9 meters per minute. That's been as conservative as we say as you should be, maximum. You can go, if you go slower than that, great, but 9 meters, you shouldn't get into any problems with your ascent and you shouldn't be really getting the bends. You can get more aggressive with that, and some people go to 18 meters per minute. It's still considered within safe limits. Depending on how conservative you are, you might fluctuate between those kind of ones. Personally, I always say go more conservative. It reduces the chance of risk, reduces the chance of injury, and just keeps you generally safer. So I prefer 9 meters per minute, so there's no reason to go faster than that in my opinion, and it just keeps it, I think, a lot safer. But here, that's essentially said, gone to, from 18 meters, because they're deeper than the diver who looks at when they're at 15, they've gone from 18 meters in a span of 30 seconds. So they've gone double on the aggressive limits. So really, really bad. Definitely chance of DCS here and getting the bends. Another thing I realized as well is that it's not just them up on the surface, it's everyone else. Everyone else followed them. In that situation, I get one guy, diver coming over to help them, especially if they've got no regulator in their mouth, but do not all follow as well. You complete the dive in your own pace and safety, because potentially now there are going to be 4 divers on the surface who are all going to have the bends. So that's since gone from 1 person who's in distress to now 4 people in distress, which is not a good situation to have, and it's just unnecessary that you do that. If someone does bolt to the surface, you let them do that, and then you sort them out on the surface. You do not chase after them, because you are at risk. And the fact is, the other 2 guys in the back are not actually even helping the situation. They are just bystanders, observers, so they had no reason to bolt up as well. So they have just risked themselves getting an injury right now for no apparent reason. Another thing I'm just going to go back and watch over this again is I'm pretty sure she was holding their breath. I couldn't see many bubbles coming out. This is one of the things that is really worrying when you see someone free ascending. Yeah, see, her mouth is closed. Maybe a little bit of bubbles, but not really. She's keeping it closed. She's not, a little bit of bubble there maybe came out. I'm really worried that if she was holding her breath during this time, that there could be a lung overexpansion injury. So that could be really serious. Again, another very serious medical procedure which you can't sort out on a boat. It's going to need them to go to emergency services, get actual proper help there. But it's not an easy thing to even sort out anyway if you do damage your lungs. On top of that as well, not having the regulator into the mouth. The regulator, even if you have no air coming from it, keep it in your mouth because it protects your airways and stops you accidentally inhaling water, which obviously is not good because it can cause you to obviously drown. So let's just say it is a panic attack what it was. It wasn't an out of air scenario here. In that scenario, yes, you're freaking out, but do not rip the mask off. Do not rip the regulator out. Keep all the equipment on your face and stuff, and just let someone basically clamp you down and try and help you calm you down by breathing. It's one of the situations, there's not much you can really do, but the best scenario is to try and just lock that diver in. But realistically speaking here, you are putting yourself at a big risk, especially how the guy swims over to them when she's flailing. All it takes is her to whack your mask. Very, very dangerous and not needed in that situation. But as I said before though, I think passing her own regulator back to her, isn't always the best idea because it could have potentially been out of air. I didn't know it was a panic attack until after reviewing the video and looking at the description. I thought it might have been a potential out of air situation because that's the reason why someone might panic. But I don't know where the panic attack came from because it's like entering the dive. Usually if someone panics, it's either they've gone deeper because they've got like claustrophobic in a situation, say you've gone through a REG or through a swim through where it could be a bit more tighter. This felt very random, by the way. I know it just shows that you don't know what's going through someone's mind and that you have to be vigilant. But essentially here, I just did not expect it to be like that. It feels more like an out of air situation, what you normally see with someone panicking. But that is really wild. I know the reason why some people might feel a bit tight is sometimes, obviously, with cylinders, if they're getting lower on air and they're not on fully balanced regulators, they actually will get tighter and tighter. The breathing gets, the lower the tank gets on pressure. And because of that, that can also feel obviously less comfortable, which can cause someone to panic as well, potentially. So that might have been a potential problem there, that the regulators wasn't fully balanced, and that's why they freaks out and bolted to the surface. Again, this is all under the assumptions right now, but it is very, very concerning. In this situation, if you are panicking, do never take the regulator out of your mouth. That's the one thing keeping you safe. Even if it runs out of air, that keeps you safe, keeps your airway safe. Keeping the mask Ripping the mask off is not a good idea either as well, because obviously you're going to suddenly rush of water in your face and your eyes, can be really, really shock to your system and cause you probably to panic even further. But yeah, this was not good at all. And if you see someone witness that, if you can try and clamp them down, if you can get to a safe position where you can actually restrain their arms, restrain their kicking, and just keep them there, and then with eye contact, get them to stay there breathing, and then make a plan. But realistically speaking here, if they're not accepting the regulator, you do need to get them to the surface, but you need to hopefully coach them to remember to exhale out the mouth, because she just is there. It's really hard though, because she is literally wide-eyed, looking away from the divers who are trying to help them, literally just looking at the surface. So in some sense, restrain them cause them to drown. And I think in some situations like this, it's one of those really unfortunate ones where you just kind of have to let them get to the surface themselves, just kind of let them go, and they'll get to the surface, and you can just get to the surface at a safe rate, slower than them, and then at the surface, then help them out. But don't try to like chase after them. Don't try and do a rapid descent with them. You are putting yourself at a lot of risk. And especially the other two divers who were just watching, there's no reason for them to go up as fast. They should just finish the dive at their own pace, go back to 5 meters, do their safety stop for 3 minutes, and then rejoin the other two at the surface. But there's no reason for them to go up there. But yeah, very concerning, and it doesn't really tell me if any of these divers did get injured afterwards, if there was concerns. I am very concerned though. I think all divers have a chance of getting DCS, which is worrying. I think the diver in question has a chance of having partial drowning from the water potentially taking in the lungs if they accidentally did inhale while they were going towards the surface, or if they held their breath during that time, they might have a lung overexpansion injury potentially happening there. So either way, there's a lot of risk to the diver in question here, so I'm very worried for that. If you have any other feedback though, which you think I should have mentioned, or things that you think they could have done better in this video, please leave a comment down below and share your thoughts. And if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful in any way, please give it a like. Helps me out a ton, but help other divers find this video too. And if you want to see more from myself, Narked Tom, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification icon to get notified when I post my next video. Anyway divers, I hope you have an awesome and safe dives, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.